Hi, nice to meet you, sir.
Hi, nice to meet you too, Mr. Ashton Paul Jones.
My name is George G. Clayton. I'm from the U.S. Department of Homeland Security from Washington, D.C. I've been looking forward for this for some time. I believe you are... Eloc Bellamy, little brother of Melvin Eliot Bellamy.
Yeah, that's right. Now, them two are other witnesses to some of the events that have been taking place?
Yes, sir. That is correct, sir.
Can the witnesses please state their names?
Hi, I'm Jonas Trager's Shaun. I'm older brother of Alex Jean Shaun and live across the street from where Eliot's older brother became a victim.
Wasn't Alex a primary victim like Jackson, Herman, Melvin, Marvy, Sam, John, Lonnie, and didn't get your name?
Timothy Nick Snyder.
Yes, Timothy?
Yes, those are the primary victims. Jonas has just seen things, basically.
Okay, yes, we can work great with this group.
Okay, I'm here to interview everyone about all the experiences and report them back to other officials in D.C. We'll be the ones to declare this an emergency or to call it off as a hoax, which I personally believe this whole thing. There's no loose ends, and everything seems to have happened and is happening clear and permanent. I think we'll end up declaring an emergency and take care of the problem, but I have to do my job first. So, when and what happened first? Well, the very first thing that we think may have been connected was a tragedy in Stephens County around the property where Eliot's brother was. But this tragedy was around ones Jackson Connor Gustafson and Emma Maria Wilkins on the wet and cold night of December 30th, 2004. Jackson was on his way back home in Louisiana late that night and his car broke down. He went onto the property for help but found Emma. They were soon trapped and encountered what seemed like 5 little kids. Each had their own abilities and appearances, but would get closer and closer to killing them. Emma got caught a few times and went missing at a point. Jackson found her right before escaping, but she told him he was going to die, and she started laughing. As Jackson ran down the street, he'd hear Emma becoming conscious again and screaming for help, and then going right back under some kind of possession. And then the whole incident where her body was found and taken to a lab. But she murdered and skinned all of our scientists in just a few seconds, then unfortunately escaped. The whole situation was said to be supernatural.
Yeah, I remember hearing something that night down the road.
Mm-hmm. And then the second victim?
Right. Herman Caesar Cockerell. He was late night dove hunting and fishing at Lake Proctor in Comanche County on September 2nd, 2006. He was stranded all night and hiding from similar and probably the same creatures Jackson and Emma ran from. Randy Gordy Glasgow assisted Herman for some time before one of the creatures killed Randy and almost killed Herman. Herman was knocked to the ground hard from a hard knock on his head. Herman was rescued longer than soon after by locals that morning.
Dang, this is strange and foreign.
Yes, and the third case, one of the most suspicious ones we've ever seen. It was at the same property Jackson and Emma were stranded near/on, but inside and more involved. This tragedy involved ones Melvin Eliot Bellamy and Marvy Rudolph Cabron. We don't know very much about what happened to them other than what we've heard and what Jonas here has seen. But they are both two different individuals that don't have a past of being together of any kind. Reports of their absences went out March 7th, 2007. They both went missing around the same time, and Jonas has seen them kill each other multiple times, but rise again. We don't know very much. We do know that some supernatural things have taken place there, from resurrections, but also from a sadistic thing they call the ruler.
The
bystanders.
Bystanders?
The other victims that have been resurrected once, but cannot come back after one time. The thrivers, however, are beings that are able to die and come back numerous times. They are very powerful and very dangerous. Thank goodness there are not many, unlike the bystanders. But poor Melvin and Marvy are now thrivers. You think it may be awesome to be as powerful as them? But no. They have no control over their own mind. They do only as someone or something from a higher power tells them to do. And that thing is something we don't know yet. But whatever it is, it commands them to do terrible things, like kill, rape, vandalize. You get the idea.
My God.
Yeah, it's painful to hear this stuff exists.
Painful to see it firsthand, too. Yeah, and I did and still sometimes have to kill bystanders that roam into my property.
I usually kill at least 5 every month.
Why don't you ask the city about the whole thing?
I did, but they don't believe me.
No one ever does. Anyways, who was or were the victim or victims after that?
Okay, it was one Sam Jeff Martin at Horse Creek Lake in Coleman County on March 15th, 2007. He went there to collect artifacts for a collection, but found nothing but trouble. He rode around in the lake in his pedal boat, almost getting pushed over, ran over, struck by lightning, a lot of bad things. He finally made it back to shore that evening in a place he didn't know, and it got real dark fast. He ended up stranded all night and saw the 5 children, like Herman and Jackson. At one point he was stopped on his head and he got up a bit later, but his vision was like a drawing, like black and white, and everything was outlined and traced. He told me it still gives him nightmares. He also kept teleporting and soon teleported back down to the shore next to the little girl, who then screamed at him, but screamed hard. It almost killed Sam, but it did make him pass out. He woke and a bit later had split vision before one of the children screamed at him again. He started running away in terror. After another while, he was found by John Glasgow, little brother of Randy and another future victim of such events. All a big coincidence.
Thank goodness they were okay.
Yeah. The next victim was Timothy here, at Horse Creek Lake on July 6, 2007. He can tell you about it, and I'll point out the key points.
Okay, let's hear your story, son.
Okay. When I was camping at Horse Creek Lake, not long after the whole thing with Sam Martin, I was scared of going through a similar thing. I never knew it would really happen. None of us, obviously. But I went out kayaking and then almost got knocked over several times, lost to the current, and almost got ran over by a motorboat. Yeah, we're scared of this boat. We think it may be the same boat that hit Sam and was scouting for Herman at Proctor, but carry on. Okay. I ended up having to survive stranded for a few days. I saw the 5 children too. I think they were the same ones for all of us, but I ended up getting strangled and stabbed to death different individual times. But I'm alive. I somehow am alive after both of these deaths.
Perhaps. Is he becoming a thriver like the other 2?
Highly unlikely, but we've been monitoring him for some time now because of such possibilities.
This is all very strange.
Alright, the next guy was John Glasgow, the guy who saved Sam Martin. He was floating the Free River in Uvalde County and got sucked under mysteriously. He awoke alongside the river and ended up being stranded August 6, 2007 to August 9th. On the early morning of the 9th, John spotted a camper, and it happened to be Herman Cockerell's. Herman gladly let him stay and got him help. He too saw the 5 children and now has glasses because of his corrupt vision from the events. The victim after him was Lonnie Allen Schmitz at the Guadalupe River in Kendall and Como counties. He was stranded from March 15, 2008 to March 18th. He was a tour guide and the vehicle drove itself into the river. It separated everyone. He had to survive the 5 children at night, and during the day he came into contact with a native tribe of some sort. They sounded indigenous and he sprained his left ankle because of a rock and an arrow. The rock's top caved in and was sharp at the edges. His foot flipped and the edges cut into the sides. At the same time, the arrowhead pierced the side of his ankle. He had to survive a long while until he was hit on the head with a log unconscious. Sam Martin happened to be the one who found him. He carried Lonnie to a tent and took care of him.
Interesting.
Yeah. One theory we had was that events are tied to the people, but again, it seems to get new people, so we don't really know. Anyways, the next victim was actually Eliot here. Yes, as a VSD investigator, I had to go to every location for first-hand investigation. It would be hard because of the tragedies that happened years before. I went to Horse Creek Lake and Guadalupe River. At both places, I, myself, have seen the 5 children and have been harassed by them. At Horse Creek Lake, I was stranded all night and the big guy busted my head open with a boulder that would have killed me and did. But I awoke in a different location and my head was stapled shut. At the Guadalupe River, I was stranded for a couple of days and disguised as a civilian and the river drowned me. That killed me too. I also later on ended up getting impaled by a tree branch. Surely enough, I was dead again. But every time I awoke to get myself free and limp away. People including Ashton here have monitored me for some time for thriver activity, but looks like Timothy and I are clean.
Oh, that's good. Was there anyone else?
Oh yes.
Who?
One Eloc Shaun. He was walking out late night, May 9th, 2009 in lovely Taylor County woods and heard a loud noise of some sort he claims he can't remember. He followed it, and he went to a strange property. Scared, he tried to escape, but found himself somehow stuck inside tall fences. He decided to go into the house where he got knocked out by a bystander or something. He awoke in the front of the house, and it was storming outside. He remembers items and furniture kept moving on its own behind his back. The lights will have minds of their own. And so he found a way to the back of the house, where another bystander got him. He awoke several months later outside on the ground late one cold night. He had a bad stomachache and thinks he was tube-fed. After failing at escaping and getting bottles chunked at him from whom, he went back inside for more chaos. He went through the kitchen to be thrown into the corridor. The gate slammed in his face and a booming voice told him, "None shall pass." Alex looked around the back rooms for any hope. Besides getting mysteriously slammed and locked into the back closet, he found a bit of hope. He tried the gate again and it opened, but something came screaming at him. He ran to the back room again, where he just was, and the room was completely different. Sheets were hanging from the ceilings and walls, new furniture was in there blocking his path, and the odor. He said it smelled like rotten eggs or farts. We think it was dead bodies. But anyways, he opened the door to the back closet and was outside, another strange experience. It was raining and cold. He ventured around outside before getting chased by another bystander back into the front yard and inside.
Front yard and back inside. Why not keep running?
Because if you really know bystanders, you cannot run these things, trust us. Alex made a wise decision.
Okay.
Anyways, he went inside to find the gate locked and the front of the house changed. Like new arrangement, new furniture, etc. The bystander from earlier started banging on the door. Alex hid. The bystander busted the door open and wandered around talking about how he's going to find all of them and kill them slowly. Alex waited until he went to the back before getting up and continuing his search. Alex found some keys and opened the gate with them. He went to the back of the house to find lights and items moving again. He saw the doorway to the back room clear and the light on. He turned around again to face the entrance, but the light was off and a dark sheet was blocking the entrance. He went over to try to move it, but something behind the sheet grabbed his hand and a searing pain came from his fingers. He was finally able to get his hand in the light in over 5 whole seconds to find that something or someone was cutting his fingers almost off. He ran back to the front of the house, half scared, and heard a loud scream from him from the back. He ran to see what was up, but a force stopped him in the kitchen. This time, he could see what it was. It looked like him, a ghost version of Alex. It pushed him to the ground and went away. Alex got up and went to the corridor to find his ghost run up to him, smile, and then fly through him, which Alex said hurt like nothing before. He flew across the room to the laundry area, and his ghost picked him up by his throat, choking him. After a bit, the ghost let go and left. Alex got up to find the back room's sheet down and the light on. He went to the closet door to go outside, but out came another bystander. He told Alex a bunch of nonsense before knocking him out cold. Alex awoke several months later, right before dawn, outside in the back, effortlessly tied up. He got free and wandered around trying to stay alive until sunrise. He soon ran into a bystander who tried stabbing him, but Alex made him stab himself. He got up and started running, and the bystander chased him. Alex hid in the barn, but the bystander found him and threw him in the air. Nauseous as ever, Alex still ran. He had no choice but to go back inside, where he ran right into his ghost by mistake. The ghost threw him and knocked him unconscious. Alex awoke an hour or two probably later in the back closet where he encountered his ghost, which stared and slowly smiled at him. After the ghost disappeared, Alex took a run for it, but was knocked out of the window in the corridor. Alex was lying on his back on the back porch, hurt and hopeless. He told me he was kind of waiting for his death because he knew it was imminent, until he saw a bottle of water, which he took and splashed all over his ghost. Ghosts can't take water, and Alex's ghost dissipated. Alex limped his way through the yard's street, where he was too weak to go any further. Jonas here had to get him, but he lied all day there first.
Yeah, there were ants all over him. My God. Did he live?
Oh yeah, he's fine now, besides his injuries and brain trauma.
Okay. Was that everything?
I believe so. Eliot? Yeah, I think. Ashton is going to investigate Alex's experience as property sometime, so unless anything happens, hopefully I'm not another victim.
Yeah, just so you know, I'm praying for you.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I guess we're done here, guys.
I'll head back to D.C. and see if other officials are smart or dumb. Okay, take care.
We'll meet again.
See ya. Mail me the results and catch you later. I will. Goodbye.
Hopefully they stay away from Marvy and I's body so no one else gets hurt. Right, Melvin. It's time to find your friend Marvy.
Ashton, did you hear that? Yeah, I thought I was in my mind, but maybe not. It sounded like my brother.